Hello and welcome to the Merge Business School. Money is one of the most important and common tools in the world. In this video, we are going to talk about where the money came from and what was the timeline of its formation until today. There are many doubts about the history of money because many of the history books that recorded this timeline were destroyed over the years. But most historians believe that more than 3,000 years have passed since the invention of money. Before the invention of money, man used his abilities or the exchange of goods or bartering to obtain everything he needed. For example, a farmer would give some wheat to a shoemaker to get a pair of shoes, or vice versa. The problem with this type of deal was that if you had an axe, you would have to look for someone who needed an axe and was willing to give you a pair of shoes for an axe. And the process could take months or even years. As a result, human beings gradually began to use a common commodity for their exchanges. In different regions, animal skins or various tools were selected as tradable goods. Historical records show that Roman soldiers received their rewards in the form of salt. The existence of such tools could increase the speed of transaction in different parts of the world. Around 770 before Christ, the Chinese made bronze symbols to replace objects they used as intermediate goods. The invention made it no longer necessary to carry heavy equipment. The sign was then made round to make it easier to carry. It can be said that they were the first coins produced by humans. About 600 before Christ, the king of Lydia, located in what is now Turkey, established the first coin mint. The coins of this mint were a combination of gold and silver. After a while, the use of Lydia's coins became widespread and so on. This made King Lydia one of the richest men in the world. When Marco Polo traveled to China via the Silk Road, he took with him the Chinese coins he had received as a gift from the Chinese emperor, thus making the use of metal coins common throughout Europe. About 700 before Christ, the Chinese, who were pioneers in the use of metal coins, realized that moving large volumes of coin was a very difficult task. This led them to make paper receipts, which were equivalent to a certain amount of metal coins, and thus the first paper money was invented by the Chinese. However, until the 16th century, many parts of Europe continued to use metal coins. Europe was trying to bring more countries under its colonization in order to gain access to more metal resources. It also banned many countries from producing coins because it allows countries to declare independence. Despite all this, banks eventually began printing paper banknotes around the world. At that time, banknotes were the same paper that a person received for every amount of gold or silver that he saved in the bank. This is very similar to today's banknotes, except that they were produced by private banks, not governments. After the increase in exchange between countries, the banks of each country coordinated with each other and considered the common currency for their own country. Gradually, each country declared its own single currency, and each bank stored some of the other countries' currencies in the fund for international exchanges. Although this increased the speed of international exchanges, it caused countries to change the purchasing power of the other side by raising and lowering the value of their currencies and creating a lot of economic controversy. If you have questions about what determines the value of each country's currency, do not worry. We will publish a full video on this soon. But in short, the ratio of printed banknotes to the capital and financial resources of each country determines the value of the country's currency. In the 21st century, telecommunication networks have expanded and mobile and internet have become an integral part of human life. There was no need to move banknotes anymore, and anyone could make their own exchanges online as much as they had saved in the bank. Mobile payments have added a new dimension to the financial world, and financial credit has replaced paper money after the economic crises of 2007 and 2008 and the economic downturn and the collapse of many large financial institutions. A new response to these problems was created: digital currencies. After the inability of financial institutions to control capital was identified, an identity called Satoshi Nakamoto, who is not known to be one person or several people, is correspondence with several people around the world introduced a project called Bitcoin, which is a kind of digital money. No government can restrict it or produce it without supervision. Bitcoin has no external physical nature and doesn't need to be approved by banks and transfer fees to transfer it. This plan was gradually able to gain a good position and will soon eliminate paper money forever. There may be too many questions for you. Who is Satoshi Nakamoto? What is Bitcoin? Be sure to share these questions with us so that we can answer them in the next videos. If you like this video, please like and subscribe to this channel.